The White House claims that they want transparency, but it's obvious that they're covering something up. And there are a couple of compelling things that it could be. Could be that Donald Trump himself is massively implicated in the Epstein files. I think there's very good reason to believe that if you want to believe that. But even if you don't believe that, there are any number of other powerful, well-connected donors whose names could be in there. And it's always seemed like that might be the explanation. And now that is looking far more compelling by the day, because the DOJ is now actively hiding the names of two of Epstein's accomplices that he apparently wired massive amounts of money to, $100,000 and $250,000. And the DOJ is like, we do not want those names to come out. So where's this coming from? NBC News wants to unseal those names because NBC News actually wants transparency here. Trump administration could have given you those names. They're choosing not to. And now they're dispatching the DOJ to stop it. So why is it that those massive sums of money were wired in 2018? And the DOJ is like, nope, we got privacy concerns, okay? They're not the victims, by the way. There's no reason to believe that. It looks like it's just associates of his, and you don't get to know who they were. And so let's talk about the timing of this. The first associate received $100,000 from Epstein. Second associate, $250,000, both in 2018, days after the Miami Herald began publishing a series of investigative stories where victims criticized a plea deal he received in Florida in 2008. And so I don't know if that's people in media, people in politics. If that could be people who theoretically could investigate this at some point. Is it potential sources of information, people who worked for him, people who worked with Ghislaine Maxwell? There's a lot of compelling potential explanations as to why these transfers of money would happen. But since we're getting no other information about this, this looks like a great, first step to find out some of what was going on when the heat was actually on Epstein. And here comes the DOJ once again to try to stop you from finding out anything about this. And so it's just the cover up, it never stops. The idea that these people, JR, want transparency. There is nothing more opaque than their approach to this story. What do you think?
I just want us to openly understand, we've gone so far this direction of protecting child sex traffickers and the pedophiles that engaged in this stuff. We have the department, the Justice Department, that is actively, openly and actively, and no kind of cover up towards this. There's full transparency that they're actively covering this up. We can see it. They're saying, no, if you're asking about this, we're not gonna release. We're not gonna show, we're not gonna investigate it privately, because they probably already did, and they know who these folks are, and they don't want anyone else to know who these folks are. Why that doesn't spark any kind of uprising of people saying, why don't we fully believe them when they say they don't care about this country? They don't care about the citizens of this country. They don't care about children. They don't care about child sex traffickers. So the next time that Tom Homan with marbles in his mouth tells you that they're going into cities and they're taking child sex traffickers off the streets, yet they're protecting child sex traffickers right here. They've taken one of the most notorious child sex traffickers and put her into some minimum security spa camp. Anytime you've seen this reality that's indisputable, and then they tell you that they're going after child sex traffickers, what part of consciousness makes you think you should trust them? And if you can't trust them on that, why should you trust them on them saying the number of arrests that they're doing? Why should you trust them on saying that they're following the Constitution? Why should you trust them on saying that these tariffs are the best thing ever and the golden age is coming? There's nothing about their beings that has anything to do with reality, that has anything to do with any kind of credibility or honesty in our country. Why listen to anything that they're saying? Why?
Yeah. We're gonna end. I just want to mention between the first statement and the backtracking that chucklehead loser Benny Johnson put out this whole thing about how this is a game changer. Trump's an FBI informant or whatever. Oh, he's a warrior. Oh my God. These people, I understand, they're still high off of the Russian money they were given or whatever, but claiming to believe this and hoping that their base doesn't realize that they're active complicit agents in this cover up. It's so ridiculous.